Our hats are a palette upon which to discuss and express preservation of Cajun culture. As the Cajun Hatter, it's my goal to use these hats to instill pride in Cajuns, to instill pride in the Cajuns that wear them. I want people to wear a hat made of nutrifur, alligator skin, cypress, all the symbolism of Cajun culture and the geography and the land around us, and be damn proud of who they are and where they are.
I am Chris Warner, author and storyteller. I make a living telling stories. I grew up here in Acadiana in New Iberia from 1970 to 1988. After 35 years away from Cajun country, I've returned, turning my storytelling focus to this mysterious, marshy, Mediterranean-blooded enclave of my upbringing, which is rife with authentic characters and amazing stories, as you will soon see.
The Traiteur, the treater, is the one who has the faith, is the one who believes that God will step in and make them a conduit and use them when they call on God in that moment. My name's Colby Hébert. I'm from New Iberia, Louisiana, and they call me the Cajun Hatter. And I'm also known as a Traiteur, which is a Louisiana medicine man.
Let me tell you a story.
My earliest inkling of a Traiteur happened when I was 7 or 8 years old in Acadiana. My younger brothers, who are identical twins, both were afflicted with warts, and my grandmother rallied them up and took us to a Traiteur in Coteau, Louisiana, which is on the outskirts of New Iberia, where I grew up. We visited an old woman who had coffee with my grandmother, and then she turned her attention to my brothers and I, and she prayed on them, said her French prayers, and we went out and played. And then a few days later, my brothers noticed that their warts were amazingly gone. That was somewhat of a mystery, because even at a young age, I knew that, wow, that was something special, just by saying a prayer that the warts had disappeared. Since then, I've always looked at Traiteurs and what they do as something real, not really imaginary even, that they have real value to people in this area in Acadiana who believe.
A Traiteur is, for lack of a better way to put it, a Louisiana medicine man, a Cajun medicine man. It's our version of a healer and a faith healer. It is a tradition that goes way back, very far back, even some would say biblically. In South Louisiana, we use the techniques that were passed down to us from our ancestors from Canada. We also use techniques that we've learned from local tribes, local Native Americans, and combined all these different things to serve people in ways that they need healing.
The Cajun people are really friendly. Everyone seems to tell you hi when you see them on the street, even if they don't know you. Cajuns are fun-loving. They enjoy conversation. They enjoy laughter. They enjoy a cocktail or two when the time is right. They enjoy good food, the reunion of longtime friendships, family. They enjoy getting together and celebrating life. They enjoy a joie de vivre that's really unlike any others, and that's the joy of life. The Cajun people have a zeal for life, and they like to enjoy it to the fullest, and they live it to the fullest. They work hard, they play hard, and they like to plan parties and have fun. I sometimes joke that Cajuns wake up every day, they take inventory and plan another party.
Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
The Cajuns were French Acadian refugees, expelled from their New France homeland east of the St. Lawrence River during hostilities between the British and the French from 1755 to 1763. In what was called Le Grand Dérangement, or the Great Expulsion, the exiled Acadians forcefully fled the Cape Breton area and settled throughout the region of parishes in South Louisiana that came to be known as Acadiana. Many perished in the relocation. Others were separated from their families, all because the Cajuns refused to sign an oath of allegiance to the British Crown. Looking for a new life and a new world, the hardy and resilient Cajuns adapted well to the environment, taking advantage of all it had to offer, in addition to their innate fishing, hunting, gardening, and cooking skills, and of course Catholicism and its many cultural underpinnings. New Iberia is the heart of Acadiana. The Cajun people that live here are a hardy lot, known for their unwavering work ethic and unquenchable joie de vivre, or joy of life. Cajuns are great because they had to be. Louisiana's only four-term governor, Crowley native Edwin Washington Edwards, perhaps said it best regarding the culture in which he was reared. If you ain't Cajun, you be wishing you was.
So my parents, my grandparents, they planted these seeds of pride in my culture, pride in who I am. And, you know, as I've grown, as I've, you know, come into adulthood, I mean, those seeds really took hold in me and grew more and more as I've grown and gotten older. A lot of people who grow up here in these small towns, these small Cajun towns, they kind of get to a point where they sort of lose their interest and kind of outgrow the towns themselves, in a sense, the cultures even, and want to kind of go in different directions. Whereas for me, it's really, although I've found interest and excitement and, you know, motivation to go and experience things all over the world and from all different cultures and live in different areas, my roots have just been so deeply planted here that I could never stay away, and that I could never lose my love and my passion for this culture. It's only ever grown. You might have been places like Vermilionville, there's a Longfellow Park in St. Martinville, a lot of these sort of cultural centers, Acadian Village, they'll have what they refer to as Jardin du Traiteur, where next to like a healer's house or something, right? Mm. Where basically they have a collection or a cultivation of plants, you know, herbs and things like that that'll be used in healing remedies, natural remedies. You know, needless to say, I have my own Jardin du Traiteur here. You know, you could take, for example, this peppermint. Somebody's got a stomach ache. You break off some of those leaves, you know, put it in some hot water and steep it down and make a peppermint tea. It's going to soothe and calm the stomach and the cramps.
So this is like a medicine cabinet.
Exactly. It's a medicine cabinet. The traiteurs traditionally would typically have a large knowledge base of remedies, different plants, herbs, things that they could use to make teas, poultices, you know, and coordinate and use that in conjunction with the prayers in order to heal an ailment, you know, to cure an ailment.
in order to prevent illness, one of the greatest things you could do is eat fresh produce, fresh vegetables right from the
whole
earth.
foods, how they exist in nature.
And you know, geographically speaking, if it comes right off your property, right out of your yard, well, I mean, that is what you consider sort of environmentally appropriate. Like this is an immediate part of our ecosystem.
Those are great
Try that.
great to cook with. I
Real
like them on
fresh,
my
you can eat
pizza.
it fresh out. I mean, it's a sweet pepper. These are not, this one's, you know, they're going to mature more than this.
It's nice.
But nonetheless, it has a little bit of that bell pepper flavor. And of course, whenever you pickle it, you know, it makes it even nicer for putting in certain things.
The mystical side of the tradition is basically Catholic prayers, usually said in French, that are told quietly, kind of in secret. You know, they're passed down. You usually don't say them out loud. And these prayers are the things that heal, because a traiteur is a conduit. You know, we basically step in and allow God and the energy of the Holy Spirit to work through us, in order that we can heal the person who's been asked to be treated. Colby ain't there. Hey man, nice to meet you.
I sought Colby out in our initial meeting to learn about what a traiteur does, but then also to give him an opportunity to treat me. I was suffering from a bad lower back, and I had, I would say, almost chronic back pain. It was bothering me. And after the treatment, after he prayed on me, I saw relief. I felt relief, and I can't really explain it.
And it just slowly materialized, and I thought, you know, what is this? And right around Christmas time, it got so bad I had pains running down my leg. I was like, you know, something.
Extraordinary things are done very ordinarily. And so for me, and I think probably most traiteurs, when we treat, it's just like anything else. You know, it doesn't feel outstanding for us. It doesn't feel extraordinary for us. Oftentimes the people who are treated will, you know, recall feeling chills or, you know, weak or heat and warmth and different things. But for me, when I treat, it's just very mundane. I simply know beyond a shadow of a doubt and with full faith that when I treat someone, God steps in. I have full faith. That's what a faith healer is. It's as simple as that. A lot of the traditions and the things that traiteurs do are folk practice. You know, there's practicality in the remedies. There's a little bit of white magic, really, for lack of a better, you know, because sometimes we'll be having a conversation with an old timer, and you mention something, and they, you know, about a traiteur, and they say, well, that's not magic, that's not voodoo, that's just prayers. You find faith healers all over the world. Every culture has faith healers. There are curanderos in South America. You know, you've got the powwows, the Pennsylvania Dutch, Amish, you know, and you got witch doctors, medicine men, shamans. You know, every culture has someone designated toward this type of work, and this is the Cajun culture's version of that. The best thing for you to do is to thank God for your healing and believe in it, and then forget about it.
There is strength in story. A good story is like a fabric that binds us to our history. Story gives us a framework in which we can understand what came before, how things are, and what might be tomorrow.
I think I'm starting to get a really good picture. A traiteur creates and fosters community, encourages people to nourish themselves and cleanse themselves through what God has given us through the plants.
Right.
And then there's the spiritual side of it,
Right.
believing.
Right. This has all been given to us by our Creator, but when you have the deeper you have that faith in your Creator, the more that it sort of allows all of this to glue together. You know,
Makes it
who
happen.
we are, what the creation around us is, and what it can do for us. But that faith in God, that faith in our Creator, is what brings it all together and gives us the real fighting chance.
The traiteur, the treater, is is the one who has the faith, is the one who believes that God will step in and make them a conduit and use them when they call on God in that moment.